Welcome, the rare gems. Let's cut through the fluff. Sigma females don't avoid social gatherings because they're shy, socially awkward, or too good for them. The truth is much harsher and far more intriguing. These women have zero patience for shallow interactions, unspoken power plays, and environments designed to drain your energy in the name of having a good time. They don't crave the spotlight, nor do they feel the need to blend into the crowd. Instead, they operate on a completely different frequency, one that makes the typical social scene feel more like a tedious performance than a meaningful connection. This isn't about introversion. It's about refusing to play a game that's rigged for superficiality. But let's be clear, choosing a different path isn't easy. Society pressures women to be endlessly sociable, likable, and agreeable. Sigma females defy these expectations, embracing their need for independence and depth. If this resonates with you, know this: your ability to step away from the crowd isn't a weakness, it's your superpower. This video dives into the raw, unfiltered truth about why Sigma females avoid social gatherings. It's not just about what they're escaping, it's about the life they're building instead. If you've ever felt out of place in the noise or questioned why you crave something deeper, this is for you. Watch to uncover the wisdom, strength, and purpose behind the Sigma way of life, and why it just might be yours too. Number 1. They see social gatherings as an unspoken battle for superiority. Social gatherings often disguise themselves as spaces for connection, but to Sigma females, there's something entirely different: an unspoken battlefield for superiority. Beneath the smiles and laughter lies an invisible competition where people subtly flex their accomplishments, vie for attention, and jockey for status in ways most don't even realize. To a Sigma female, this isn't just exhausting, it's pointless. She sees through the layers of posturing and performance, recognizing it as a distraction from genuine connection. Sigma females are wired differently. They value authenticity above all else and have little patience for the games people play to impress or outshine one another. Whether it's someone bragging about their latest success, making backhanded compliments, or trying to dominate the room with charisma, these behaviors fall flat in their eyes. For a Sigma female, real connection isn't about proving who you are, it's about sharing who you are, without an agenda. This refusal to participate in social hierarchies isn't about arrogance. It's about priorities. A Sigma female would rather spend her energy on meaningful pursuits, whether that's diving into her passions, building her skills, or simply enjoying her own company. She understands that self-worth isn't something to be measured against others, but something you cultivate within yourself. For her, the endless scramble for validation in social gatherings is like watching people fight over an illusion. She chooses to walk away from the noise, not out of fear or disdain, but because she refuses to trade her authenticity for acceptance. In doing so, she reclaims her time, her peace, and her power, things far more valuable than winning a fleeting moment of social superiority. Number 2, they're hyper-aware of fake energy. Sigma females have an almost uncanny ability to detect fake energy, and social gatherings are often filled with it. They can spot the forced laughter, the plastic smiles, and the hollow compliments from miles away. It's not about being overly critical, it's simply a matter of their finely tuned intuition. To them, these inauthentic behaviors stand out like a flashing red light, and it's more than just an annoyance, it's a complete turn-off. Where most people might feel the subtle discomfort of these social masks, Sigma females experience a visceral reaction. Fake energy doesn't just feel off, it feels like an emotional weight they can't shake. It's like a cloud that hangs over every conversation, suffocating the possibility of genuine connection. They may not always articulate it, but they sense the disconnect between what people say and what they truly mean. They can tell when someone's not being real, and they find it exhausting to play along with the act. Sigma females don't have the energy to waste on superficial interactions. When they enter a social setting, they're looking for authenticity, something raw and real. They want to connect with people who are who they say they are, not with individuals who are busy performing for the crowd. The energy that fills a room matters to them. If it's fake, it's toxic. That's why Sigma females often opt out of environments where the energy feels forced or shallow. They would rather spend their time alone or with a select few who are as genuine as they are, rather than endure the exhausting artifice of fake smiles and hollow exchanges. For them, authenticity is the only energy worth investing in. Number 3. They don't have patience for trendy inclusivity. In today's social landscape, inclusivity is often little more than a buzzword, a hollow attempt to appear progressive without any real substance behind it. Sigma females can spot this performative inclusivity from a mile away. They see through the tokenism, the virtue signaling, and the shallow efforts to seem open-minded or diverse, when in reality, people are just following trends. To them, it's not about embracing true acceptance or understanding. It's about checking boxes and appearing socially conscious for the sake of appearances. For Sigma females, this kind of shallow inclusivity feels fake. They don't buy into the idea of inclusivity being used as a trendy accessory or social badge. They crave real connection, the kind that transcends political correctness and social expectations. To them, inclusivity should mean genuinely accepting and valuing others for who they are, not just for who's trending at the moment. They've seen how groups can use inclusivity to manipulate their image or appease a crowd, and they find it disheartening. It's not that Sigma females reject diversity or the idea of inclusion. They simply reject the idea of it being an empty performance, a tool for social gain. They value people who are truly open-minded, not those who adopt causes simply because it's fashionable. In a world where inclusivity is sometimes just a checkbox, Sigma females remain resolute in their belief that authenticity and depth are what truly matter. They won't participate in token efforts or hollow gestures. Instead, they look for the real, messy, unpolished human connections that make inclusivity meaningful, not performative. Number 4. Sigma female see gathering like old-school reunion as competition and status evaluation. Sigma females view gatherings like old-school reunions through a lens of competition and status evaluation, and they aren't interested in playing that game. To them, these events often feel like a battleground for proving who's made the most money, who's climbed the highest in their careers, or who has the perfect family. It's not about reconnecting with old friends or sharing genuine experiences. It's about sizing up who's won in life and who's still stuck in the same place. This subtle game of comparison is exhausting and unappealing to Sigma females because they don't measure their success by societal standards or the approval of others. They're not interested in hearing about who bought the bigger house or who landed a high-paying job. For Sigma females, those things are irrelevant because their sense of worth comes from within, not from external accolades or status symbols. They don't want to spend time at an event where people are constantly jockeying for position, trying to outdo each other in an unspoken race to the top. They don't need to prove anything to anyone, nor do they care what others think of their achievements or lack thereof. In these environments, Sigma females often feel like outsiders, not because they aren't successful, but because they don't buy into the game of comparison. They're focused on building a life that's authentic to them, not one that's constructed to fit into societal expectations or to impress others. Old-school reunions, with their competition and status evaluation, simply don't align with how Sigma females see success. They'd rather invest their energy into pursuits that bring them real joy and fulfillment than participate in a shallow, status-driven social display. At number 5, they value their space more than socializing. For Sigma females, solitude is not just a preference, it's a vital necessity. It's their sanctuary, the place where they can reconnect with themselves, recharge their energy, and let their thoughts flow freely without interruption. Being alone doesn't mean they are lonely. It means they are nurturing their most authentic self, reflecting on their ideas, and giving themselves the mental space they need to think clearly and creatively. In solitude, they find the peace and clarity that external noise can't offer. Social events, on the other hand, often demand their presence, pulling them away from this sacred time. These gatherings, with their constant interaction, expectations, and distractions, feel like an invasion of their personal space, an intrusion into the sanctuary they've carefully cultivated. While others may thrive in the bustle of a social setting, Sigma females feel their energy being drained as they navigate these external pressures. They need their time alone to feel grounded and centered, to restore their mental reserves and align themselves with their goals. Socializing may be enjoyable in small doses, but for Sigma females, it's always secondary to the value of their own company. They understand that in order to give their best to the world, they must first honor and preserve their inner peace. This is why they often choose solitude over social gatherings. They know that it's in these quiet moments that they grow, create, and prepare for the challenges ahead. To them, solitude isn't just something they need, it's a crucial part of who they are. Number 6. They've already learned the hard lessons of false friendships. Sigma females have lived through the hard lessons of false friendships and the painful realities of shallow connections. Their keen intuition has allowed them to recognize the toxic patterns in relationships built on social gain. Those where people pretend to be friends only when it's convenient, or when there's something to be gained. Over time, they've seen the backstabbing, the manipulation, and the empty gestures that come with these kinds of friendships. They've learned that many people will only stick around as long as they're benefiting from the relationship, and when the benefit disappears, so do they. Rather than engage in these draining dynamics, Sigma females withdraw. They no longer waste their energy on false connections, choosing instead to focus on their own growth, personal development, and goals. They understand that real relationships are rare and don't require constant validation or compromise. Sigma females invest only in bonds that offer authenticity, trust, and mutual respect. For them, the superficiality of social circles and fake friendships are a thing of the past. Their decision to avoid these toxic friendships isn't out of cynicism. It's a conscious choice to protect their peace. They've learned that true connections are worth far more than the fleeting, often hollow bonds that come with social posturing. Sigma females know that investing in themselves and nurturing a select few, real relationships will always be more rewarding than maintaining a facade of friendship that doesn't serve anyone in the long run. Number 7. They see most social events as performative, not genuine. Sigma females are not interested in performing for the sake of status or approval. To them, most social events, especially those that are centered around appearances or social hierarchy, feel like elaborate performances. There's an unspoken game happening. Everyone is subtly competing for attention, constantly seeking validation, and putting on a show to impress others. Sigma females, with their deep sense of authenticity, find this type of environment suffocating and unnecessary. They don't see the point in participating in a cycle of pretense. Their value isn't tied to how others perceive them or how well they can play the role of the likable or socially acceptable person. They are uninterested in the game of constantly needing to look successful, likable, or popular in the eyes of others. For a Sigma female, true worth comes from within, not from external validation. In social gatherings that revolve around status or surface-level interactions, they feel disconnected from the people around them. They can't relate to the need to impress or perform because at their core, Sigma females prioritize authenticity over facades. They would rather be alone or with a small group of genuine individuals who don't need to wear masks than waste energy in environments where the whole purpose is to put on a show. For Sigma females, social events that hinge on status or appearances are nothing more than an exhausting, fruitless performance. They avoid them because they have no interest in playing that game. They'd rather be true to themselves than participate in a culture of constant validation seeking and pretending to be something they're not. At number 8, social politics. Feel like an unnecessary puzzle. For Sigma females, social politics are nothing more than an exhausting, unnecessary puzzle. The constant need to decipher who's pretending to like whom, who's in a clique, or who's vying for social dominance feels like a game they didn't sign up for. They don't have the patience for the subtle power plays, hidden agendas, or the strategic maneuvering that make up the undercurrent of most social gatherings. To them, these dynamics are trivial at best, and at worst, they're a waste of energy. Unlike many who might get caught up in the intricacies of social positioning or the politics of fitting in, Sigma females view these situations with clear eyes. They don't play the game because they don't need to. The constant jockeying for status or approval doesn't align with their values. They prefer authenticity and directness, not navigating a maze of social expectations or hidden motivations. For Sigma females, social politics are irrelevant. They understand that true relationships are built on honesty, not manipulation, and that social success shouldn't come at the expense of personal integrity. Instead of investing time in solving the puzzle of who's pretending to be friends with whom, they focus on what really matters: their own growth, passions, and the few meaningful connections they've chosen to nurture. They've learned that not every social environment needs to be decoded or understood. Sometimes it's better to just opt out altogether and save their mental energy for what's real. Number 9. They know social masks are exhausting to wear. Sigma. Females understand that most social settings come with unspoken rules, and being part of a group often means conforming to expectations that aren't always natural or authentic. These social masks, the polished, agreeable, or exaggerated versions of themselves that others expect, feel like an exhausting performance. For a Sigma female, slipping on this mask isn't just tiring. It's an emotional betrayal of who she truly is. Unlike many, Sigma females prioritize authenticity above approval. They have no desire to pretend, adapt, or suppress parts of themselves to fit into a mold that wasn't made for them. But in most social gatherings, there's an unspoken pressure to do exactly that. Agree when you don't, laugh when you wouldn't, or tone down your personality to make others more comfortable. To a Sigma female, this kind of self-censorship is unbearable. Wearing a social mask also feels like a theft of energy. The mental gymnastics required to navigate these dynamics, adjusting tone, filtering words, or monitoring reactions, leave them drained and dissatisfied. They crave environments where they can be fully present as themselves without worrying about how their honesty, independence, or intensity might be perceived. This isn't arrogance or unwillingness to connect. It's a conscious decision to value realness over pretense. Sigma females aren't antisocial. They simply refuse to engage in relationships or interactions that require them to compromise their core identity. For them, life is too short to be spent pretending, and they'd rather be alone than surrounded by people who only accept a curated version of them. By avoiding situations that demand a mask, they preserve their energy and stay true to who they are: bold, independent, and unapologetically authentic. At number 10, the overstimulation is a creative killer. For Sigma females, crowds and loud, chaotic environments are more than just uncomfortable. They're a mental drain. The constant barrage of noise, the overlapping conversations, the clinking of glasses, and the flashing lights all serve as a sensory overload that strips away their ability to think clearly. In spaces where everything is competing for attention, Sigma females find it nearly impossible to focus on what truly matters. This overstimulation feels like a creative killer. Sigma females thrive on clarity and focus, and environments that demand constant mental juggling only hinder their natural flow. Their minds are wired to process information deeply, not in bursts of distraction. When forced to navigate a sea of noise and chaos, they feel disconnected from their own thoughts and ideas, like they're drowning in a pool of white noise. It's not that Sigma females are unable to handle social situations. They simply recognize that their mental and creative energy is best spent in quieter, more controlled spaces. They know that in order to produce their best work, come up with fresh ideas, or simply recharge, they need peace and stillness. A room full of distractions is the antithesis of everything they need to thrive. When Sigma females avoid social events that offer nothing but overstimulation, it's not because they don't enjoy people. It's because they know their creative energy is too valuable to be wasted on a never-ending cycle of noise. For them, true inspiration comes in moments of solitude or in small, meaningful exchanges where focus and clarity reign. Number 11. Time is their ultimate currency. For Sigma females, time isn't just a resource. It's their most valuable currency. While many people measure social gatherings by how much fun they had or how many people they interacted with, Sigma females measure them by opportunity cost. Every hour spent engaging in small talk or participating in shallow exchanges is an hour they could have spent doing something far more meaningful, working on their passions, refining their skills, or advancing their personal goals. They understand that time is finite, and they refuse to squander it on anything that doesn't contribute to their growth or purpose. Unlike others who may attend events simply for the sake of being seen or part of the crowd, Sigma females see social interactions as investments. They weigh every social engagement against what it could cost them, time that could be used to create, learn, or build something of lasting value. The superficial pleasantries and obligatory conversations that dominate many social settings simply don't offer a return on investment in their eyes. This isn't about being antisocial or too serious, it's about prioritizing what truly matters. Sigma females know that success, fulfillment, and peace of mind don't come from idle chatter or empty social validation. They come from purposeful, focused action. So when they opt out of certain gatherings, it's not because they're disconnected or uninterested in others. It's because they understand that every moment spent in alignment with their values is a step closer to where they want to be. Time to them is too precious to be wasted on anything less than what serves their higher purpose. Sigma females don't avoid social gatherings because they dislike people. They avoid them because they see the value in protecting their time, energy, and authenticity. For them, most social events are filled with shallow conversations, hidden agendas, and unnecessary drama. They'd rather invest their time in pursuits that bring them real fulfillment, whether it's personal growth, achieving their goals, or building genuine relationships. Sigma females value depth over surface-level interactions. They don't need to prove anything to anyone or follow social trends. While others might seek validation through crowd approval or social games, Sigma females are more focused on living life according to their own rules. They know that true success doesn't come from impressing others. It comes from being aligned with their own values and goals. If you're a Sigma female, don't feel the need to explain your choices to anyone. The world might not always understand your preference for solitude or your disinterest in social events, but that's okay. You're on your own unique path, and that's what sets you apart. Keep doing what works for you. Stay true to yourself and know that the life you're building speaks louder than any social gathering ever could. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video. Bye for now, and God bless.